Hello. Hello, everybody. Howdy. I have a festive Christmas background now. That's a lot of fun. And some wintry lo-fi royalty-free music. Oh man, this month has been kicking my ass. Not in a bad way, just in a busy way. Oh, hello everyone. Happy Wednesday. I hope you all have been doing well. I'm doing good. I'm obviously very excited about how the Charlie plushie has gone. I'm curious to see if we will be able to hit 500 plushies. I have a feeling we will. I have a feeling. So, hey, no. Cootie is raising hell because I just spent an hour and a half in the booth working on something I can't tell you about yet. And he's mad that I haven't had designated baby time. Oh man. Productive day. I am still very not used to being able to kick as much ass when it comes to work stuff. I'm not used to being able to get that much work done. Being able to do like an entire, the runtime's like 20 some odd minutes long of something more complex than the recent Oron audio. So just being able to do that in an hour and a half is crazy to me. Like, wow, I sat down and only worked on the thing that I needed to work on. I didn't get distracted. I didn't get sidetracked. I just did it. Whoa. So it's very exciting. It's like I have superpowers and I'm not used to having them. So it's pretty cool. I like that. It's a good vibe. I also am very thankful that a lot of folks loved yesterday's Oron audio. Sorry about a Tuesday upload. I on Monday, like right at like 5 o'clock, I got hit with feeling like it wasn't just eepy. It was like the way that I feel when I'm like fighting off a flu, kind of like no energy, hot, gross, feeling like a big baby. But then I took a little nap and then I was fine. But that's what happened on Monday. And then on Tuesday, the power went out for like 4 hours when I needed to upload. Because I was like, oh, I can upload later in the afternoon. It's not a big deal. And then the power went out. So, oops. But yeah, that Oron audio, I really liked how it turned out. I also like, and this has been a progressive thing. Like there's been comments like this basically for like the past half a year about Oron, where it was like, wow, I didn't know he was gonna be like this. And it's just funny to me because, like, I think I don't know, because I don't listen or really check in on what other ASMR roleplay folks are up to. But I think it sort of speaks to, like, maybe just media in general, that people don't anticipate a character arc. They assume that this thing is face value and will be face value in perpetuity until the end of time. And it's like, buddy, I would be bored as fuck if I had to write Oron as, like, literally knockoff 50 Shades guy. Like, I would bore myself to tears doing that. Like, the reason I chose that trope was because I knew I could have fun with it, and I could, you know, I could do something with it. Like, I felt like I could cook. And it's funny just because people, and I think this happened with, I think there's some folks, like Finn is also a good example. They saw that Finn had yandere content and was like, oh, I don't like Finn. Even though, like, they do not intersect. Like, good boy Finn times are entirely unrelated and unhindered by yandere Finn times, just in the same way that yandere Finn times are unhindered by the other thing. So I think people get an impression, and perhaps in the past or in other scenarios, those characters never really changed or grew beyond that trope or cliche. And for me, it's like I get bored. Like, I need to be able to do something with them. I can't just, like, it kind of speaks to Jack a little bit. So Jack's history as being an original character on the channel was like, oh, I can just do anything with him. He's like, in general, for any kind of role, and whatever. And that just bored the fuck out of me because he has no character. And I mean, if Oron's character was purely, I am just your dom, I do not care, I do not have feelings, I do not have a history that informs the decisions I make today, I do not have motivations that go beyond I'm horny and your boss, like, buddy, I couldn't function. And like, and it has been, even by, like, I think the character progression has happened really fast in terms of, if you look at how long that content has happened, like, in terms of chronologically, and also just how much content there is. It's not a slow burn, but people act like it's been a slow burn. It has taken a lot of time to get all that content out, but it's like, oh my god, could you handle if this was like multiple books of him being that way? So, anywho, I was very happy to share him being, you know, a guy. Yeah, and honestly, like, I don't know. So, I'm excited. That, and I really, even though it's a one shot, I don't know where it really fits in the timeline. I think it's like definitely like post Escaped, because the Escape, because the Escape series really sets up like, okay, he really cares. This isn't just about the physical side of things. Like he is invested, and I think that night in particular really opens him up. So post Escape, somewhere in between Escape and where Shattered will take place. So like it's a one shot, but only in the sense that like it's just a moment between those two, but it is like a canon moment. Like I would put it in the like, here's the timeline of everything that ever happened between them. Like it would be in there for sure, because it was great. It was really it was delightful. And it's so much easier for me to do improv now, because like only about half of that video was scripted, and I knew I was gonna go off script, because even before I got to the end of the script, I went off script, and I was like, oh man, it's really fun, because like there are times where I can just tell and feel that I've got something in me. Like, that sounds so wrong. Don't take that out of context. But like, I can tell that there's like some untapped feelings and story there, and I'm just gonna kind of let the character do his thing. And it was great. It was really, really sweet. Yeah. I think the thing about Oran is like, he's really like a hopeless romantic at heart, but he's very like guarded and hasn't allowed himself to connect with anyone like that. So, you know, I think what's fun about the character is like, rather than doing all of the stereotypical things that a character like him would do when he was like, oh my god, I'm having feelings, which is like, be toxic, communicate poorly, be an asshole, push them away. It's more like he's gonna try, and he's awkward, but it's fun. It's fun to show like what I think a genuine version of him is like. Yeah, so because like that would be, you would get chapters of content out of him being like denying his feelings and trying to push the listener away because he's scared, or I don't want you to get hurt, you might be in danger. Like, that's silly. So yeah. That, and the thing I really needed to establish is like, because Shattered goes into a whole bunch of other stuff. Like, it's not purely about their relationship, although their relationship is key. But I need to get people on board with the idea that they love each other, you know? And I don't think for the leap I'm trying to get people to take, it's not enough for them to be in a deeply passionate sexual relationship. It needs to be a little more. Not that those aren't great or fun, but yeah. No, I appreciate it. Has Nightbot pulled up to the spot yet? He has. Okay, cool. Thank you, Nightbot. Anywho, I will be answering questions. So you're welcome to send those in. I've got a few already. I guess I'll answer a few of those. Let's see. We've got, I saw something on Tumblr about Bittersweet storyboards. Are you able to talk about any of Bittersweet yet, or are things still under wraps? I mean, something's going on. Something's going on there, probably. Seems like the case. I don't want to say anything else. I don't want to say anything. I've learned my lesson that I will not put a date or an expectation. I will just do the fucking work. And when the work is done, y'all will know. So that's my goal with that. That being said, I'm very excited. Very excited. Very it's not I will say it's not chapter 4. It's not like the whole chapter 4 is happening and coming out. But it is something. It is something bittersweet canon happening. So Potato asked, when will the next Finn audio come out? I miss him so much. YuuriVoice, please. I can share that. I think I can share that. That'll be winter solstice. Or Yule. Those are the same, right? I'm not fucking that up, am I? Yes. Yeah. You know I had to pull up. Yup. And it'll also be it'll be a safe for work to not safe for work. And it'll have a special thumbnail and video. So yeah, I was looking at the calendar, and you know what I've started to do? When I go to plan content for the month, I pull up a calendar that has like special dates and stuff listed out on it. So like if something coincides, I can really like plan. Cause like, oh wait, Yule's on a Thursday? That's perfect. Yeah, so Fin time. I need to work on that, but I needed to get some other things done first. That's why they there's been a few compilations and stuff just to buy a little extra time. Michaela Makeup Nerd with the €5 dono. Thank you very much. Super chat. Sorry. Just out of curiosity before I go, any Christmas themed audios lined up before the new year? So obviously the Finn thing does play into that a little bit. It's specifically Yule, but you know, nothing else is actually like there is no traditional Christmas like specific audio. I would say that. But there is like Christmas is a topic of interest in some things. Yeah. I will skip this and go, not skip this. I will skip ahead to this because it's fairly relevant. Runehelm asked Horon birthday audio. So, I've been a little conflicted. Because, yes, Oron's birthday is on Christmas. Also, how many people are taking the time to tune in on Christmas? So I actually have a different kind of idea. Where on the actual day will be filled with a Oron marathon and special stream, and there's something that will happen. I don't want to say any more than that. But yes, there will be recognition. There will be recognition of his birthday. Let's see. Mars of the Stars asked, I've been wondering, does Alphonse still do his camboy thing after him and Sugar Boo get together, or even after Bittersweet happens? Because considering his business does end up more successful and he has no need to make extra cash on the side to keep it open, would he keep doing it? Yeah, I don't know. It's such a, like, a non-factor to me that I don't really think about it. I don't know. Like, yes, it is a good, like, subject to make content out of. So that's why I wouldn't ever actually outright say no, because, like, well, that could be fun. But, like, I don't know. I'm not thinking about it. There's so much more to think about with Bittersweet related content with those characters and shit. Purple is working asks, how many Charlies do we need to buy to be able to perform the ritual to summon actual Charlie? Huh. I do not know. A few. 7. Or perhaps we will summon him if we get to 500. Let's see what else we got. Sweet Kaida asked, what songs would Oron normally listen to? He's probably... I reckon he probably loves just throwing on, like, movie OSTs. Like, he's probably a Hans Zimmer girly, you know? Pinku with Dreamer for 3 months. Happy to have you. Says, happy to still be in Dreamer. Just bought another Charlie plushie, and y'all should too. Thank you, everyone. I wish I had oh, we're at 471 now. I wish I had planned some more shenanigans for the Charlie plushie. Like, I wish I had, you know, prepped TikToks and shit, but man, I've just been busy. Michaela Makeup Nerd also asked, with what details you can share, how would Faust react if he found out about Rook and Oron? I think he would be shocked and probably very bratty about it. I think in general, he would be pissed that Oron has a connection with anyone, because from Faust's POV, it's like, you can't even be bothered to have a relationship with me. Why the fuck do you have these other people in your life? I think would be the vibe. Yeah. Let's see. Drained Anarchy says, hi, tagged along a few months ago, and I'm happy and grateful for this carnival ride. Well, thank you. And asks, is Faust's listener as the barista and gamer the same person? No. I can say that for sure. No. And is Charlie the only one that hasn't had a run-in with Finn? I would also say no. Seth, I mean by like tangentially, I guess you could say he's had a run-in with Finn, but like Seth has no clue about that. To our knowledge, I feel like everything should umbrella statement just be like, to our knowledge, as covered in canon right now, because those things are always subject to change. There are things that even I do not know yet. No, I would say that as of Bittersweet, the only person who we know has had an interaction with Finn is Alphonse. It is also heavily implied that Faust had some sort of thing with a barista whose name he could no longer remember. That certainly sounded like he was going to say Finn's name. So draw your own conclusions there. But other than that, no. Technically, at the end of Bittersweet Chapter 3, we see that Finn is like looking in on what's going on with Oron. But you know. Let's see. What else do we got going on? It's garden variety Finn canon. So it gets a little complicated. There is a version of Finn that has owned a flower shop and has participated in shenanigans with a listener. So that Finn is very real. So in that scenario, yeah. Let's see. Man, why can't I read? Drea asked, is there a way for me to get a special happy birthday? I'd be willing to pay. My birthday is coming up on the 22nd. I think we can figure that out. Chosen Hero says, do you have an estimate when you would release the sleep aids? I would love a Charlie sleep aid. I don't know if, I don't necessarily have an estimate, but like, Jackie has the artwork order put in. So like, the artwork's gonna happen. I know the concept. It shouldn't be too long. Like, I really want to get those made. So Sunlight asks, any word on Jack content? Asking for a friend. That friend is me. I want to say I'll start really digging into that. It's hard to say, because like, as soon as I get, there was a few big things that I worked on this month that needed to get worked on, that I sort of decided to do at the last minute. But I would say realistically, I would love to have the start of his series happen in January. I would like to get it started in January if all works out. That's not like don't quote me on that, but like, in my heart, I would love for that to happen. But I also know I have to write that, and I also need to write Shattered. I also need to do Echoes. I need to do a bunch of things, so there's a lot going on. But Jack is also like, the outline for his whole like story is really straightforward, should be very easy for me. And it's also like very simple to do, so it shouldn't be a big deal. Hex asked, how much of Echoes of Everlast is cooked up, if you want to say? That's a much more involved project, isn't it? It's like 1/3 outlined, because I started to go over the outlines and what was scripted and everything, and was like, okay, I had to like spend more time fixing some of my bad writing. But we are on the precipice of me like actually setting out on doing all of that. So there's a few things I can't explain. I can't necessarily say why, but there are a few things that I need to see how they line up in various series, because like, something that might be in one narrative story might need to be revealed by the time that we get to a certain point in another narrative story. So I need to sit down and actually write one of them so I know what the fuck needs to happen in the other ones. So, you know. Shadows Till the End of Time asks, will we have more of our streamer boy Faust anytime soon? Probably not until post Shattered. Mostly because I had an idea while I was working on that story that ended up blowing it out of the water I was like, oh my God, I could do this and this and this. And I was like, all right, well, fuck. If I'm going to do all that, all of this needs to happen first, because none of that's going to make sense otherwise. So that's where we at. No, I wouldn't say 6 months. I would say I will put it this way. Just because the specific story I'm referencing might not feature an appearance from him doesn't mean that he might not make appearances in other things. Yeah. Also, the like, we won't see him for another 6 months is such a like sneak diss. Especially because this year was filled with me trying to fix my mental health so I could actually work and get things released. So like, you probably didn't mean it that way, but that does feel like a kick directly on the tip of my dick, which is not very pleasant. You avoided the balls, at least. Did you watch the Game Awards at all? How was it? I did watch. It was fine. It was fine. I have a lot of critique. Sunlight asks, how do you juggle working with 9 characters? It is so much work and I appreciate it so much. I'll put it to you this way. I couldn't have told you that there were 9 characters. So I just do what I do and let the rest play out however the fuck. Ponyboy asked, when commissioning the art for the compilation videos, do you have a specific vision, or do you just let Jackie do her thing? Like with the camping one coming up, did you ask for Seth on a trail specifically, or did you ask for a Lucian with an apron, etc.? Etc. Sorry. I usually do have like a basic premise. Like I'm pretty sure with Lucian, I was like probably him with an apron on. I know with Seth specifically, I was like, Seth like out in the woods with a camping, like a pack on his back. But I don't always get super specific, especially with those. I just kind of like pitch the premise and, you know, share the vibes, and she just kind of works with it. With things like Bittersweet, I am a little more specific. But on some, I'm like, hey, like, this is what I'm trying to do. Show me what you think. And then she'll show me kind of like a very rough composition sketch, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's great. Yeah. Do you think you'd still do a Charlie cosplay? I don't remember what that was for, but I'm pretty sure it was brought up at some point. Yeah, I had thought about trying to do it as a as like a hit an amount of plushies sold reward. I still might do it. I just don't know. I just don't know. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to do. Let's see what else we got. Hello, I hope you're doing well and happy holidays. How does Alphonse feel about moths and or bug taxidermy? I'm collecting them. I think it's cool. I think he probably thinks it's neat. I feel like Al is very, when it comes to Boo, he's like, oh shit, you're into this? I'm into this too. Like, He's not a whole oh, I don't like that. Oh, bugs? Never. Exactly how soft and squishable is the Charlie plush? I mean, he's pretty firm, but like he's a great size where like you can claw grip his head and throw him. But like the makeshift plushie style is very like durable character plush and not super squishy, but he's not like hard. Jackie, don't throw him. Jackie's a bully. Who out of all the YuuriVoice boys has the best taste in clothing? And it's probably Faust, right? Like, it has to be. Probably. Mace-Light asked, did Derek know about Finn, or was he a possible tool for Finn to use? Well, what we know is that Oron found a journal in Derek's office filled with ramblings and sketches and stuff that were Finn related. So I don't know. I can't just tell you. Hex asks, for the sake of my Finn record keeping and studies, was the implication of Oron buying flowers from Garden Variety Finn in the Takes Control audio canon? The truth is, I don't know. The truth is, I don't know. I would say it's certainly not nothing, but if it was never something and it was just a little cute reference, then it was nothing. No, I can't even tell you what I was thinking when I put it in there. I just thought it was cute. There is a world where it is canon and a world where it isn't. I just have to see what. I just have to see how it plays out. I think the actual truth is, if I can make it useful to the plot and it is interesting, it will be canon. That's every seed that I've ever planted, right? It's like, hey, whenever the time is right, do I use this or don't I? That's kind of how it'll go. I Like Dinos asked, is Faust going to be in Shattered? I don't know yet. I will say that there are many ways I have thought about Faust being involved in various series that aren't strictly like his current storyline. So yeah. Arika asked, do you have any thoughts or plans on remastering the pre-Bittersweet relationship between Boo and Alphonse, or the Boyfriend Audio's Pastel Punk Neighbor Wants You compilation, where that's going to stay? I think it's enough for me to touch up chapter 1 of Bittersweet. I don't want to go that far back. Like, it's already a huge leap that I now think remastering chapter 1 it would be a good idea. That's huge progress for me. So obviously, like, never say never. But for that one, it's like, my goal would be to make the intro in the first episode of chapter 1 give you enough context that you don't really have to go and have that. That's my real goal. Even without adding a whole lot of runtime to that part, just like enough where there's enough sprinkled on there that what happens next isn't super like, wow, listeners really bold, which like they are, but do you plan on making more character theme mixtapes like Charlie's, or perhaps a sequel to his playlist? Yes. Like, we have a whole like template for making like promo for different character playlists and stuff, and there's even a section on Patreon where they get stored. So there will be more for big series and also individual characters. Yeah. Midnight asked just a silly question: would there ever be a 10th YuuriVoice character? Buddy, I don't know how to tell you this, but like, I have several others already planned and lined up. We have the priest, we have the blacksmith, we have a bunch of characters who may not be voiced by me. We have other characters. There's a lot. So yeah, I got so much. Boy, when I tell you, the other day I thought of a whole character. There's a whole lot. There's so much. So yeah, there's a lot going on. Oron's comment about cheap cologne will never not make me laugh. What kinds of scents and colognes would you say he uses? There's one. Fuck. There's one that I use that I think he uses, and I don't remember what it. Hold on. Let me go look at my order history. What? What were you? Cologne. What? Jesus. Please. What would... Alright, well, I don't know what the fuck my cologne is called. It's very fancy. Hey Yuri, out of curiosity, would you ever do an AU or a scenario where the listener had an ex and the boys would feel jealous? I mean, technically we did something like that with the Yandere Charlie thing. Although it was very short-lived. Yeah, I would say, like, never say never, especially when it's like a one shot and it's not a big deal. Whenever I don't enjoy like the jealousy aspect is like when people ask, you know, does Alphonse or Seth get jealous of the other, like implying a like canonical like toxicity or like bad communication or whatever. And it's like I don't want to incorporate that into necessarily like the core plot of a big series, because I think jealousy is pretty overplayed, especially in this particular genre. So I try to, you know, I think there's a time and place, especially for fun scenarios that aren't all wrapped up in a whole bunch of other shit. Hootie. Hey, why are you beeping? Cootie's so mad that he's not on the desk. You're gonna like roll all over everything. Will we ever get a Seth plush? Yeah, I think yes is the answer. I feel very confident that we will be doing a Seth plushie sometime in the future. I need to talk with my makeshift person. What I would love to do is do Pastel, Al, and Seth at the same time with a, like, if you buy both, you get some sort of percentage off. But I don't know. I'm scared because like that means we would have to sell, you know, we would have to hit certain benchmarks. And that's scary. That's just a little scary. This plushie thing can be really stressful. Like I feel very I don't like having to like promote so much. And like makeshift already is like, hey, you should be putting promotion for it in your videos, because like they don't understand the content I make. Like imagine if in that Oron video from yesterday I did like a pre-roll or a mid-roll where it was like, hey, get your plushie. It's like as much as I understand the need to promote it, I also know like what I'm already doing is working, and it is the primary engine of my business model. And I don't love the idea of like fucking with the ingredients. Like I'll do a bunch of extra stuff, I'll do a bunch of things outside of that, but like I don't know, the way it's integrated has to be handcrafted. So yeah. Just like this stream, yeah. I mean, realistically, like, it would not have been hard to embed a, like, static little ad in the corner of the video. But, like, we've been so busy working on a billion things. And, like, I already asked Thu to do a whole lot. And last month in October... holy shit. I almost said last month in October, and it is December. October was so crunchy like I had to have Thu doing so much. Like sometimes it's just not worth it to add another thing. So, you know. Anywho, saying all that to say, like, trying to sell an item can be really stressful. How would Oron react to Rook trying to get him to laugh? I feel like we're at the point where he just laughs. Like, it's not like if they showed up wearing a clown nose. I just think like they have an understanding of how to like push his buttons playfully and get a reaction out of him. So I think he would just laugh at this point. That Oron audio has some of my favorite laughs that I've done. Eden asks, is Trish fully aware of Oron and Rook's relationship? Or is Oron keeping it hidden from her, or is she sus about it and just prefers not to get involved? I will probably be answering that soon. I'll probably be answering that soon. Oh, excuse me. Will you continue the Werewolf Seth series? I'm in love, and I would love to know if you're expanding on the story. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do a morning after. At the bare minimum, just because like it would be very funny to hear what he thought of what occurred the night before. I think when I don't have so much stuff to work on, it would very easily be one of the things that I'd go, oh hey, it would be great to go and do a Werewolf Seth audio. Eden also asked, would Charlie and Casper be into pro wrestling? Not actually the ones doing the wrestling, but watching it and being simps for the wrestlers. Probably. I think like retro gaming, wrestling, thinking about things that they might have had shared interests in when they were kids. Why not? I don't think it doesn't seem like it would be such a like outlandish idea for them to have enjoyed it. I'm happy to answer that one for you, Eden. Oh man. Oh, let's see. 473. We are close. Man, I can't believe that I got as much work done as I did today. I'm excited to write. I was able to write the thing that I recorded today fairly easily, and it just makes me very optimistic about where we're gonna be in a month or so. Oh man, I'm there are things that I'm really excited about. I can share, here's a couple things I can share. So aside from the big narrative series I'm working on, which is the big things that are on the agenda are Shattered, Mystery Thing, Echoes of Everlast. Those are the big ones. Then you know, Bittersweet is also there, but I need to get shit rolling. But I do have a bunch of that outlined and have been thinking about things. And you guys will be getting a pretty good idea of what chapter 4 is going to be like here soon. Hello, not named. How are you? Mika asked, is Santa coming back? I don't really have plans for bringing Santa back for another romp. Especially with like how much. Hey, get down from there. Go on. Get. Cats being where they don't need to be. There's so much that I've added for us to work on in December that doing something with Santa really isn't likely. Ant said, speaking of the Werewolf Seth audios, I'm really grateful you included the line where the listener is able to get consent from Seth's human form through his wolf form. A lot of Monster Fucker stuff has themes of extremely poor consent, so it was a huge relief when I heard the line. Yeah, I was just... As I was writing it, I got to that part, and it really kind of hit me like a brick to the face that, like, yo, while this specific, the way that I'm doing this werewolf is like, well, it's kind of like a separate entity. It's not like his body, but it is and isn't. It's just that's a weird line for me. So I also thought, like, the way that the listener was being portrayed, like, they like Seth. Like, they, at the minimum, think he's hot and have a fairly innocent crush on him. And they were at least conscious that, like, hey, I don't want to do this if he's watching and, like, genuinely hates what's happening. Because that's really fucked up. And, like, I didn't plan that at the time. I just knew, like, the basic story beats, and then when I got that, when I got to that, I was like, that is a little it's a little, you know. So I just, you know, same with, like, with Yandere Charlie, where it's like, you know, it was basically consensual non-consent. And very tame. Like, that was very tame compared to where you can take that kind of premise. Just because I have some personal boundaries that I just want to make clear. And I think at this point there's sort of a there's a expectation and trust. Trust is a better word than expectation. I think people trust me to present a story that, you know, is considerate of that kind of thing. And I try to be considerate of that kind of thing because I think also, like, you have to consider, like, well, shit, if he would be pissed off, what happens the next morning? Like, how do you continue that story if he feels gross after what occurred? Like, well, then that kind of just pisses all over the whole idea and doesn't really turn into compelling content. So, you know, yeah. Hey, quit that. Kiki says, thoughts on the invisible string theory? Basically a theory that a couple of any kind may have met or been somewhere around each other once before actually meeting. How do I... Here's how I will answer that. I will answer that by saying you probably should have got a good idea of how I feel about it in Bittersweet Chapter 1. And everything I've done since then should probably reinforce some of those ideas. I also think, this is worth saying too, because I saw a tweet that really kind of got me thinking. Because, you know, like, I love, as a concept, just in general, soulmates or, like, fated lovers, etc., can be fun, but also, like, not if you imply that there wasn't choice and purpose in the emotions, because I can't really think of anything worse than being left feeling like none of it mattered. Like, if it was inevitable, does it devalue those connections? And I think that if I touch on things like that, here, okay, you know what? Here's a better way to put it. I prefer the idea of someone making a conscious choice and effort to love someone multiple times, regardless of circumstance. I prefer that over we were just always supposed to be together. I want a love that's so big that it transcends. That's where the fucking money is. That's what I'm about. Because I also like the idea, and you did make a point to say it's not always romantic, just like people in each other's lives. I love the idea of connections that aren't always the same as well. Like, I thought of I like I have to be careful what I'm saying. I like a concept that I like, and I can outright say, like, I don't know if this is involved in what I'm working on or not, because I have choices to make about it. But I like the concept of, like, regardless of time and place or life, iterations might not have the same dynamic, but like I really can't. There's nothing I can really say. There's nothing I can really say. There's a lot of themes that will be at play. And I think for me is like, and by no means is like this particular concept a unique idea. It's simply not the most popularized one. But I feel like things like multiverse or, you know, other universes, etc., is very overplayed right now in media. Thank you, Marvel. My twist on it is like, instead of multiverse, what if you kind of dig into afterlife and like the next life? So it's not happening simultaneously, but rather than like straight up reincarnation, you are experiencing life again in a different kind of world. So it's like similar, but not exactly the same. That's kind of the vibe. See, that's funny. Sleepy Chickadee said, like in Adventure Time, I love how they do reincarnation. Bro, so I have not watched, I didn't finish Adventure Time, but I was an Adventure Time kid. And then I fell off. And then I saw like bits and pieces of Fiona and Cake on like social media. And I was so confused, but without like watching anything or figuring anything out or seeing like an outright spoiler, because all I really saw was clips. I was like, is this like, are they doing like a like, are they doing like iterations of their universe type of thing? And that really kind of like sparked my interest. I heard Fiona and Cake's good. I need to actually like, I need to fucking do the thing. My fucking headphones just died. Let me put this in my butt. Boom, we're back. Juicebox asked, do you have any tips for script writing and creative writing in general? Man. Damn. So I should preface this by saying a while back I retweeted a whole like manifesto by Escaped Audios that has a ton of great information in it. And honestly, it is the thing that I really liked about it, because like, even if you don't necessarily have to agree with all the takes in there or like every piece of advice, there's a ton of like really good information in there. And that's how I am about a lot of like information, is I look at it, I take what I can use and adapt and make it, you know, I do my own thing. So I think there's a ton of great information there that is way more thorough than anything I could even start to just freestyle on stream. So that's a great resource. So basically, I'm just gonna kind of spin a wheel in my head and pick a favorite tip of mine. One of the biggest pitfalls with self-insert script writing is you run into a few issues where either the listener character is so passive that you get like however many minutes of them being talked to, and like that has a place. That certainly has a place for people who are looking just for a pretty voice saying things to them, doing things to them, etc. That's fine. But when you start to like, if there's some sort of story involved, even like when I say story, it's like problem, we need milk, challenge, there's a traffic jam, solution, character fucking knows a shortcut and gets lost. That kind of story. So like not even thinking about big broad storytelling, but just like conflict and resolutions. When you start dabbling in that, it is not fun to listen to a version of that where you're constantly being told how you reacted and what you did. And there's a lot of ways where writers will use a crutch to accomplish that. They'll have the speaking voice repeat what they just said, which I'm guilty of. Listen, I will fucking use it if I need to, especially if I'm just trying to get shit done. Because the layer beyond that is like, how do I imply the tone and general vibe of what you said, and also make it match what I need it to be, and also what I've led you for it to be? That gets really complicated. So you need to have a base idea of like your audience and like how they're going to be reacting. Integrate that into the listener character, and then come up with clever ways for them to be a participant without actually participating. And it's hard. And it's taken, I've been doing this for 7 years, and it is, what is this noise I'm hearing? Mochi. Hold on, I have to be a dad. Ugh. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Huh? With that. What did you lose? You stink. No. Oh. All right, I'm back. The model took a little nap? Good. Good. Scarlet Torchic in the comments said, it's tricky because each viewer listener is different, and even if you think you've covered every avenue of what the audience might want to do, there might be one that comes as a surprise. Yeah, for sure. And listen, I'm going to shoot straight with you. Fuck that one person. Like, I'm sorry, I can't specifically cater everything to you. Make the listener who you want them to be. Give them reason for them to be that person, and cook. And if people don't like it, they can go fuck themselves. And that's like, there's your advice. I just think it's important to, you don't want to undermine yourself worrying about every potential, like, you don't want to make them a soup of nothingness because you're trying to appease everyone. But at the same time, like, I've been at this for so long, like, I have a pretty good finger on the pulse of the general expectation of my audience. But even then, like, I've been able to train them. Like, I think about Bittersweet Chapter 1 and how people were reacting to Seth and how fucking insecure a vocal minority was. And I had Seth literally say, like, if you doubt Alphonse so much that you would be intimidated by me coming back, you don't deserve to be with him. And that was me telling these fucking piss ants who couldn't handle the simple concept of some fictional character they like having a previous relationship. If they couldn't handle that, that was me saying, like, hey, maybe this isn't for you. Because it wasn't. And I think that you could actually look at those first few episodes of Bittersweet Chapter 1 as me, like, I drew a line in the sand and said, we're not doing this. And I think the people who fell into that category either got offended or figured it out. And there's like a certain, I'm very proud of my community. And I think we've established, like, hey, things are going to be like this. And it's made a space for me where I'm very comfortable creating and taking chances. And the people seem to be fairly satisfied. And I think that was one of the big ones where it was like, it was like a, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good way to put it. But I think that specific time period helped shape what the community looks like today. And we've had times over the past couple of years, so like 2.5, 3 years, where you would see new people come in who wouldn't quite understand the structure of things in terms of like the balance that we have. And some people would behave poorly. Probably the nicest way to put it. And I think things would have been really difficult if I catered to those people who were so loud and so negative at that time. Because I knew the vision for what I was going to do. And in a lot of ways I didn't know at the same time, but I knew like what was and wasn't going to happen. And the big thing was like just trying to tell people like, yeah, my most popular character who makes me a lot of money, I'm not gonna fucking make him break your heart, you dunce. And like, the thing was that I got really ambitious with Guzma back in the day, which literally I tried to get clever and have his heart get broken, but people were not really along for that ride. So I had already learned a lot of these lessons. So it was like, I'm not gonna give you a bad end and be like, yep, there we go, that's it. Which, like, maybe some folks weren't entirely unjustified in that fear, but I also at the time tried to make it really clear, like, that's not what's happening. Anywho, that was supposed to be advice about writing, and we ended up a million miles away, so sorry about that. Eden asked, what would the morning after escape be like? I can't tell you. Because Chickadee asked, was doing character listener stuff your first time doing voice acting? Any advice for someone who'd like to try it? I had done voiceover, and funnily enough, talking about Guzma, I had made a gag video with my Guzma voice before doing any character listener content. But I mean, the first time I ever did it consistently, yeah, I would say that was the first time that I really started doing it, trying to do it. As for advice for someone who'd want to try it, don't overthink it. Just start. There's a million, free to use with credit scripts you can dig into. A bunch of them are over on Reddit. You can just start practicing and get started. Don't steal things. Don't use stolen artwork. Don't go in with an expectation of making a bunch of money or whatever. Just have fun. Like, you should do it because you want to practice and find your voice and get practice acting. Like, I was listening back to older stuff and it's so bad. It's so bad. But I'm glad that I did it because, hey, fucking, it worked out and I got better, and you have to just start doing it. So that's my biggest piece of advice, is like, just start doing it. Also, like, avoid parasocial relationships. Avoid weird fans who want to make you their personality. Like, you don't want to the whole thing where people, it's a very prevalent thing in the voice acting community, especially for like ASMR roleplay people, to be like, oh, we have like a small family and we're so tight and these people mean the world to me. And it's like, these are strangers who want to listen to your voice. And, yes, networking and stuff is cool, but be careful. Be fucking careful. People on the internet are fucking weird. Mochi, no, don't do that. Mochi, no. Get down. Get down. Get down. You're not climbing the wall again, Mochi. Get down. All the way. Goodbye. I worry about people who are, man, I worry about people who don't know what they're getting into. Not named asked, do you ever think in the future you'll ever have a new character, such as a new character that would be tied to Bittersweet somehow? Yeah, actually, a little bit before you got here, I think I had mentioned I have like several more characters planned already. I'm very a lot of my planning and shit goes like probably like a damn year ahead of where the content is right now. In particular, we have a priest, we have a blacksmith boy, and others that I cannot share. So yeah, I do have characters. I also, and this, I'm going to give you guys a big crumb for free. I feel really good about the idea of Seth's dad being an actual character, man. Not for like on the channel, like being a guy who you bang eventually, but like I have a person in mind to do the voice stuff, and I just really, I was thinking about some of chapter 4 and stuff, and also thinking about Jesse and that relationship, and it's like, man, I don't know how you don't talk about Seth healing his relationship with his dad, because you have Jesse, who basically has done all of the wrong things, and then you have like his dad, who, what we know is like, hey, he's in Alcoholics Anonymous, and he's been consistent, and he's doing well, and he's active in the community, and he's trying, but he's never at any point been like, he hasn't done the Jesse thing of, I'm going to do these big grand gestures to fix how you think of me. And as I was thinking about that, I kind of realized that has merit and is worth exploring and worth Seth having. I'm getting emotional thinking about it now. I don't know what Seth's dad would look like or what his name would be. I'd have to really think about it. But yeah, you might be seeing another parent soon, though. And that's all I can really say about that. Scarlett says, hey, YuuriVoice, thanks for the cozy stream. If people in the community wanted to make you and the other YuuriVoice Tube boys assets, would you like that? And if so, where could we send them? That's a good question. Well, one, yeah, that would be cool. I would fiddle with that. As for where to send them, that I don't know. you could reach out to the script email and mention what we're up to. I cannot give a hint for whose parents, but it's not I don't know. I don't know how to tease it without making it too obvious. So just you'll see. You'll know when it's time. Nina says this might be stupid to ask, but Boo is clearly a comfort character. And I think they do it involuntarily and they end up getting hurt. Don't you think so too? Nina, you're going to have to ask me that one again because I'm so lost. But I'd be happy to answer it for you. When is it time for the review? You will see. You'll see. I can't say anymore. Mochi, hey, no, go on. I don't know what you're doing. He's over here like jumping around, bouncing around. A character that Jackie, you might be on some shit. Okay, you might be onto that. If you mean Boo is a character whose whole thing is like comforting people and caring for people, and like it comes naturally to them, and they could end up getting hurt because of that personality trait. Yeah. They haven't gotten hurt because of it to this point that we know of. But yeah, I mean, those kind of characters, excuse me, I think they do lend themselves well to trying to help people to their own detriment, I think is a good way to put it. Which, I mean, sort of is how, you know, chapter 3 was playing out, right? Like, they want to help solve this problem. They care about Seth and Alphonse. They're taking matters into their own hands. And they sort of end up in a situation, you know? Noi asked, when creating a character, what do you think is the most important thing to consider? Purpose. Like, what are you doing with them? What is going to be the function of this character? How do they play into your plans and what you're doing? Which is a great example of, like, early Faust, I didn't really know what I was doing with him. I just knew I wanted him, and that's not really that's not a good recipe for, like, longevity or any sort of good storytelling. And then I figured out what I wanted to do, and I adjusted course. So their purpose and motivation matters a lot. because like we made Faust. I loved Faust, but I had no fucking clue who he was or what he was about, what motivated him, and like I had some vague ideas, but it didn't come together until some other things started to become clear to me. So not named, you should use the question form. That's a good way to guarantee that I will answer your question, but I'll give you this one for free. Will Big Red be introduced into Bittersweet? I can safely say no. Daddy with the $10 super chat says, what's your favorite piece of merch you've made? Also, can't wait to hold Charlie, new cuddle buddy. Oh, man. Oh, that's tough. I really do like the Faust Tarot merch. I love the Hello, I'm Listener patch. I love the enamel pins. All of the enamel pins have been bangers. Hi, Frog Prince. I am great. How are you? Man, we got some cozy vibes. So, someone shared with me that a person who I don't think is like currently in the fandom or anything, but they posted on Tumblr that they saw that that I had 2 successful plushies on Makeship, and that they were a fan back when it was just a Yuri on Ice blog. Oh man, that was so funny. I'm glad it was like positive too. Like, wow, he's still doing it, and he's done 2 successful Makeship plushies. It's like, ah, that's cool. Also, huge shout out to Eden for the Balloon Boys merch. That, I mean, the way that art works on like the journal and what else is it on that I have that I love? It's great. And the cup, oh my god, yes. The stainless steel tumbler. It's so good. It's really good. Not named says, or asks rather, are there times that you ever thought of quitting? Honestly, so I think, I mean, the quick answer is no, because I don't have a whole lot else going on, especially like financially. Is like, this is my job, so like that's essentially asking like, do you want to not make money? It's like, well, I need to make money. I have considered what the future looks like in terms of obviously I can't do this indefinitely, right? I have to figure out what the future looks like. But I think that the actual answer is I want to be able to create in a way that doesn't require me to be the face. Like, I want to write for things. I would be happy, like, if I'm not writing for a thing, I would love to voice act in a thing. I would like to be a producer of a thing. So I thought about a lot of like ways to exist as a creative that doesn't involve me doing so much. And thankfully, because I'm now being treated for my ADHD, all of this work is a lot easier on me. I didn't really understand how I did not understand how much I was struggling. I just thought life sucked. I like brute forced my way to success, which I'm proud of, but at the same time is like, damn, it's so much easier to do things now. Like today, I did a bunch of shit, and I just did it. It's been really like life-changing for me. And like there's only, I can't tell if this is sad or what. There's only so many times in your life that you have a life-changing development. On the I think it was last month's Patreon update. For those who don't know, I do a monthly like ramble where I just talk about content and sneak peeks and life. And you know, my struggle this whole year has really been a big part of what's been going on with me. And I was sharing how now I feel so much improvement. And I said, you know, the impact of me getting medicated and finding medicine that I have no negative side effects on and works. And I'm now like, all of these barriers that I was facing are gone, or at least mitigated. Like, a lot of things that should just be speed bumps for most people, for me were walls, is the best way I could really put it. And for them to now just be speed bumps, I compared it to like, you know, it was like falling in love. That's how big of a deal that this change was for me. And that's crazy. Like, I don't know. It's been a lot, you know? Cause like, I didn't realize, and I did realize how hard a lot of it was. I just thought, cause like, listen, I've been dealing with it for a decade. A decade is probably the best way to put it. Cause like, it wasn't as apparent to me until I was like an adult. And I didn't know that it was something that I could fix. And I wasn't really able to fix it. Like, I didn't have access to healthcare for a long time. So now that it just, I was able to figure it out, is like, it's a big deal. And I still like, no, I'm not in my 20s. I'm 32. I'm grown. And thank you, sweet Yukibo. I started when I was in my 20s. I became YuuriVoice in my 20s. But no, I'm grown. I'm grown. Yeah. It's a lot. Nah. I'm big boy. I do actually have like a perpetual baby face. So like I've looked about the same age since I was like, I've looked about the same age since I was like 25. Yo, I feel that on not remembering my early 20s. I was talking to my therapist and holy shit. Like I was trying to lay out like a timeline and I had like a whole period, like I call them my void years because I genuinely couldn't tell you what was going on at that time. Like probably my lowest point, I was just living. Sometimes in my comfort audios, I say lines like, hey, if all you can do in a day is just wake up and exist and go back to sleep, that's still a win because you've made it to the next day. That's because I've lived it. That's because I quite literally just existed for a few years. And it wasn't great. It wasn't great. But it's also important, man, because like I know for people who are experiencing times like that, that's the most it's so it feels cliche, right? Like, oh, just keep going. Like that's not actionable advice. That's not tangible stuff that you can work with. But like genuinely, if all you can do is just fucking try to live and not quit on yourself for another day, like sometimes you just have to survive. And while you might feel guilty about it at the time, like, oh, I'm not doing this or whatever, and like I feel that X, like just falling short of hikikomori. Yeah, like literally like actual hermit me, like actual like, and on top of that I was dealing with a lot of social anxiety, so like actual fucking hikikomori. It was a rough time, and like I eventually got out thanks to friends and connections that I had made that weren't always perfect either, but like they started to get me out of my shell again and make me feel like a person. So that was a big thing that was responsible for me like getting out of that funk, was like feeling I appreciate y'all. Thanks for hearing my little story. What animal would I be? Probably a bear. If I wanted to get creative, maybe I wish I was a capybara. Capybaras are cool. I'm also... What other animal do I identify with? What is your question, Frog Prince? I would be a Noopy. I would be a Moomin. Oh god, I want to be a Moomin so bad. There's artwork of like a bad boy Moomin who has like a spiked leather jacket. I really liked otters, but like I'm not ottery enough to be an otter. Can you try to pronounce cyclopenta? Oh boy. Cyclo or cyclo? I'm gonna say cyclopentanophoradaterreno. Nailed it. Oh. You think I'm an owlbear? What? 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 Oh, you thought it was a game? You think I'm an owlbear? I don't remember what my talk. There we go. This was a pay to use model that I got. Pay to use? It might have been free to use, honestly. And I thought it would be funny if I ever did the DM thing. The D&D ASMR that we did. Anywho. Where did I go? Come back. There we go. Ah, my torso. There we go. How would I continue Bittersweet if I was an owlbear? Well, I still have my voice. Will there be more merch in the future? Yes. I have ideas already. I just need to do the thing. I also need to check this. What is this? Without Derek? Oh, there's so much more for Bittersweet with him being gone. I can share what I've said so far about chapter 4. Basically, there's a lot of, emotional fallout to go through and kind of like where everyone's ending up and what the future looks like for them. In particular, I've mentioned, like, I do want to return to some of the slice of life-y vibes, because chapter 3 was huge and introduced a lot of like the fantastical elements and the broader universe and stuff, but I think we need some back to basics with Bittersweet where it's about the relationships and how they're doing as characters and stuff. Ian, you should have heard. I basically like explained all of that earlier. I would not worry. I would not worry about that particular situation. Open the presents. Oh, like the Christmas presents? Oh, man. All right. I do have a confession. I did not think about what they may have gotten each other on Christmas and have not actually, have not incorporated that into anything that may or may not have been worked on. So, there's a lot for them to do. There's a lot for them to do. That and like they do have a certain they have a role to play in the broader stuff, but you know. So the Seth audio tomorrow is a compilation of the Campfire Confessions audio series. So technically not new, but I've been compiling some of the other series into compilations, which is what you do when you compile things. It is in total, it's like a 40-minute series or so. It's a big one. And it's fun. And the thumbnail. Man, Jackie has been on something with the artwork. So that's very exciting. The stream has been on for 2 hours. And it's about time for me to go get dinner. It's about time for dinner. I have a feeling you will be seeing even more of Jackie's artwork soon. Yeah, I don't know. Jackie like leveled up. I don't know. Not that I don't know exactly what it is, but it's I'm feeling it. All right, let's take one last look at where we're at. $478. Oh, we are 22 away. 22 away. I have a feeling we will be hitting 500, which is very exciting. Who's that little baby beeping? Mochi, you sound like a kitten. Hold on, I gotta tell a story before we go. So, some of you may be familiar with the struggle we've had with Haru's health, and then just cat situations in general. Boy, man. So, out of the blue, because of course, the cats, in particular Mochi and Haru, are not agreeing with the food that they've been on forever. Well, Haru hasn't been around that long, but Mochi has been on this food. It's the only food he's ever been on. And man, the struggle of just Yuri, the hours went back up on the plushie. What's happening? What's happening is that we were when I was saying we had 24 hours left, we actually had like 30 because I misjudged the time that was left. So no, this is the right amount of time. There is now officially 24 hours left. This is correct. Yeah, so oh my god. So trying to fix the cat food situation. There's like, it's one thing if you have one cat and the food is disagreeing with the one cat. But you add in the layer of like Haru's digestive issues he's had, and like literally almost died from tummy problems, so that's scary. Plus like trying to wrangle the family of cats to be on one food, which like if I absolutely had to, I could feed them different foods, but they don't know how to do that. They're so used to eating out of the same bowls, and they just, even now, like, because I've had to do so much, like I'm hand feeding them by putting the bowls down at a certain time and monitoring them and everything. And like Haru has been extremely food motivated because he got medicine with wet food, so anytime he thinks he's about to get food, he becomes incredibly food motivated. Like he will harass you for chicken soup, which is not what we fed him, but for some reason, chicken noodle soup, Campbell's specifically, he thinks that's for him, and he wants it desperately. And he's a chubby little guy, so that's great. We've found a food that I think is gonna play well. My mom works at a vet clinic, so I'm able to be like, hey mom, could you just poke a vet and ask a question for me? And she did, because you know, a few of the doctors really love her, so they were able to give a good answer. So yeah, I think so. The food that they've been on was Hill's Science Diet Adult, and in particular it's the chicken with no soy or added or like fucky grains or whatever, and it's been fine. It's a good food, but sometime like 6 months ago or so, I noticed when I opened a new bag that it just smelled different. It almost smells a little sour. Like I had to wonder, like, is this food bad? And right around the same time, like, tummy issues started happening, and we've been through like multiple bags at this point, so like I don't know if they changed the formula or what. Normally, like, you can Google that and find information, and they had changed some formulas, but not this one apparently. But I think they changed something, and it has turned into a whole ordeal. So not only are we switching away from this particular food, we're also switching brands. So I'm nervous, but they seem to be enjoying the new kibble that I got. Purina Pro Plan, hairball control, the turkey one. And it's not so much like we're literally trying to fix hairballs, but it has a higher fiber content, because they said, hey, what could be happening is like there's not a ton of fiber and they're just trying to digest too much protein. So I'm hopeful, because like I don't want my cats to feel sick. That worries me. Especially Mochi. Mochi's lost a little bit of weight, and like, I don't know. I have fucking trauma from the Haru situation. So like, I just don't want my cats to be unwell. That freaked me out with Haru. Thankfully all was well. One of the issues where one of the real issues was like me having to kind of put my foot down with the doctor and be I wasn't rude at any point, but like I was upset with them, and I get really I don't like being mad, man. I don't like, even if it's justified, I don't like I don't like conflict. I don't like having to I don't like being a Papa Bear type of guy if I don't have to. Because I've been around men with tempers. I had a father with a temper. And anytime I have to kind of tap into a little bit of that, I feel gross. Like I feel like I've let something out that I've kept taken care of. And that's on me to figure out, like, hey, sometimes being justifiably assertive is good, and you do not have to feel like you are a bad person for asserting yourself or, you know, putting your foot down. But, you know, that's on trauma. Yeah. Anywho, they seem to be doing well. Everyone is eating the new kibble, and we're in the process of getting them onto the new food. And yeah, I still got beef with that vet that damn near killed Haru. It's a hard job. And I am empathetic to what they have to go through and the kind of people they have to deal with on the daily. But damn, she almost killed my fucking cat. Like, legitimately. Like, I'm not even being dramatic. Like, her hasty decisions and lack of getting additional information from me that would have been poignant and is on her to get from me, not me realize after the fact. It's like, yeah, all of that almost killed a cat that really was gonna be fine, but she was so fast to try and solve 3 problems that he didn't fucking have, you know, which sucks because I actually love that vet clinic. I've been taking, Haru went to one that was very good, but is like 45 minutes away. 45 minutes away, like through Austin. Horrible drive, dangerous drive to take a pet on too. So I found something local, and they have great reviews and everything, but I didn't love the place that I went to, because, like, god damn, they overcharged, and they like got me up out of there quick. And like the place that I have beef with, I only have beef with one vet. Everyone else, the staff, the technicians, everyone fantastic. Their policies are fantastic. Every time, so they did like a bunch of spays and neuters for me. Anytime they went in for a checkup or shots or anything. Follow-up calls the next day or something. Like, really great, like really genuinely great vet clinic. And you know, I've thought about like, hey, do I see if I can go and see just a different vet, which is an option, but Of course, at this point, like, they've talked to each other. I'm sure they have a fucking note by my name. Like, I don't feel like I would be welcomed. So that sucks. So that's a bummer. Literally probably the best vet clinic that I've had to deal with one-on-one. So, yeah. That's rough. Hey, Vep! Yeah, they sure do. They sure do. Some of them, at least. This one, like, I also understand, like, we're in Austin. The prices are Austin prices. They're not going to be the same as, like, back in Tennessee. But, god dang. They charged me $60 for an eye stain, which is like they use little neon droplets to put in their eyeballs, and then they use a black light to check for scratches. $60 for that, dude. $60 for that's kind of crazy. And like, obviously, like, I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to make sure my cat's okay, but god dang, that's a lot. And then they gave me medicine I already had and overcharged me for it. Yeah. Yeah. It's all good. I just, man, I wish that vet hadn't been so fucky with me. The exam fee wasn't that bad. The exam fee was like 60 something. And like, that's fine. But man, I just thought we needed some antibiotics, man. I thought that was all we really needed. Like, literally, I just used some of my leftover medicine on Mochi, and he was fine for that particular issue. Because him and Haru have passed a cold back and forth, and it's like, okay, you literally have exactly what he had. I'm gonna use the eye drops on you, and surprise, instantly better. Like the next day better. Yeah, they're good. They're good now. Haru's like almost over his cold. I was trying to be careful. I didn't want to, because I have to give him the medicine with food, and we're in the middle of trying to fix his like food motivation, and it's like, oh my god, I'm gonna undo all the fucking progress I made. So it's like I gave him like 3 dosage of the antibiotics, and he's like just hardly a sneeze now. So I think he's beaten it. If not, then I'll give him another dose or 2. I just don't. I'm so scared of fucking up his guts again. Poor guy. His whole kittenhood was filled with terrible tummy issues and having his butt touched. He is fucking adorable. Haru is that fucking cat. All the cats, but Haru is he's different he fits a different kind of mold, I guess, in his personality and the type of cat he is. Whereas like Mochi's like that too. Kuri and Momiji are very similar, whereas like Mochi is a very distinct cat and Haru is a very distinct cat. Hi, Mochi. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go eat some chicken nuggies. And this is not sponsored, by the way. I believe what I'm having is Tyson's Southern style, lightly breaded chicken nuggets, and it's like guilt-free Chick-fil-A. Like it has the that like low-key pickle juice flavoring going on in there. Delicious. Anywho, not sponsored. Have a good night, y'all. Thank you for the plushie. We're gonna fucking hit 500. I don't know what we're gonna do about it, but I'll fucking do a kickflip or something. All right, y'all. Have a good night.